A little while ago, a former roommate met an English girl and married her in England. And since I know my way around a video camera, he asked if I would videotape his wedding in England. Now that was fine by me, but I'm not one to go somewhere just for one specific reason, so I added an extra week on the front end of my trip for some sightseeing. And oh, what sights I saw. Having been blessed with a huge range of travel experiences, I began feeling the need to not return to familiar sights and begin seeing new places. I had thought I'd start my trip in London, but I decided to bypass it completely and head for my father's birthplace, a little hamlet outside the former industrial city of Birmingham. Birmingham, England's second largest city. Much of the quaint architecture was destroyed by World War II bombing, and a not-so-attractive city grew from the rubble. But a multi-million-pound facelift is giving the city center a brand new look, and it's becoming the center for cultural activities. Birmingham is known for the first steam engine, gas lighting, being the center of England's canal system, and not too far away, J.R.R. Tolkien lived as a young boy. This British version of Venice has a canal network that runs through the heart of the city. The Gas Street Basin is an aquatic version of a trailer park, and you can even rent one of these canal boats for a very unique getaway. But I'll have to save that for next time. I wasn't here to see Birmingham anyway. I had a more personal mission in mind. I had grown up visiting my grandmother on my mother's side in Brisbane, Australia, and knew that environment well. But I had no inkling as to the place where my father spent his youth, other than his dismal descriptions of it. And so, I boarded a train for places unseen. Dad didn't have much to say about the place of his youth, and back in those days it was known as the Black Country because of all the factories and steel plants pumping out the coal smoke that coated everything black. These days the place has a new and revitalized look. I called Mom and Dad from a payphone all the way back in Aussie. "Guess where I am?" "What possessed you to go there?" was Dad's reply. A quick trip to the local archives introduced me to a new book recently published, chronicling the growth of Braidley, the village where my father grew. I found papers dating to 1822 regarding Mitten Manor and the new owner unhappy with the sad state of the garden below the kitchen window. Must be a distant part of the family. A modern trolley service whisked me from the center of Wolverhampton, and before I knew it, I was walking in the footsteps of my father's youth, and transported back to the 1960s. Unfortunately, many of the buildings my father knew, including the house in which he grew, were bulldozed back in the 1960s to make way for these ultra-modern replacements. So my experience was somewhat sanitized.
Canals everywhere.
I took my time, soaking in the ambience of the place. Chatted with these gentlemen and showed them my new book with the pictures of places right across the street in 50 years past. Who's that?
Oh, the goodness.
That's your brother.
Yeah.
One invited me home to meet his wife, who turns out grew up across the street from Dad, and she remembered him, some 60 years on.
Mrs. Mitten. She used to have a shop. It was a shop.
Mittens, yeah.
Yeah, it was a shop, wasn't it, where your dad lived.
Dad grew here during the 1920s and 30s. During the Depression, he said they were lucky to have 2 pennies to rub together. His mother, my grandmother, ran a haberdashery, or a draper's shop, on the street front of their house. And his father worked as an electrician at the local slag works. Dad was destined for a similar existence, but World War II presented him with an opportunity to leave this place. So he joined the Navy as a boy seaman and saw the world. Must have rubbed off on me. Well, I'm guessing this is the view from where, right around number 29 we used to have been, right about there. While touring the streets, some of the local kids started following me, and unfortunately, in this day and age, that doesn't always look good. One of the concerned neighbors even stopped by to ask what I was up to. He was quite apologetic and didn't mean any harm, just watching out for our own. I told him if more people got involved like that, there wouldn't be a need for our conversation, so I did appreciate his efforts. I decided the time had come to move on. But just as I had started my way to the train station, the police arrived. This visit was becoming quite memorable in more ways than one. They too inquired to the nature of my visit. Fortunately for me, I had Dad's birth certificate with the local address printed clearly to corroborate my story. Told them I was leaving anyway, and they were nice enough to give me a ride to the train station. Probably the most excitement they'd had in weeks. Next new experience, Wales. These people build their homes right next to a railroad line. Then again, if I had a view like this, I wouldn't mind a few trains passing by. I land in the quaint town of Conway with its magnificent castle. Constructed by Edward I beginning in 1283 and completed in 1289, it was a key fortress in his iron ring of castles to contain the Welsh. Having seen this enchanting place, I'm not sure why they'd want to leave. I found a cozy little bed and breakfast recommended by my guidebook, which I wouldn't be without. Found some fish and chips, and there I was, snug as a bug in a rug. Bed and breakfast can be a great bargain. Very cozy, comfortable and safe, and a welcome break from backpackers' hostels, and you can still get to meet new people in a more intimate setting. Some of the rooms come with their own en-suites, while others use communal facilities. Conway is a beautiful village, nestled on the calm Conway estuary. It's so small. You can see it all in one day, but it's a great place to rest any weary bones one might have, or wait for your feet to get itchy. Conway is also a great base of operation to explore the surrounding area. based on my experience, I highly recommend it. Perhaps one of the more touristy sites in Conway is the smallest house in Great Britain. So small and so full of school kids that I had neither the time nor the overwhelming desire to see its cramped innards. I'll come back.